Well, hello again from Tracking the Blood Trail for Christ Ministries. Well, if you're a bow hunter and you enjoy being in the woods, now is the time. We're coming into the last week of October, all right? And so the bucks are starting to get a little squirrely as far as wanting to find estrus does that are coming into heat to be bred. And one of the techniques that I use during this time of the year, I wouldn't go into the woods without a grunt call. Well, a few years back, I found this grunt call made by extinguisher or illusion calls, okay? The reason why I like this call so much is I don't have to have multiple calls, okay, to call a deer in. With this call, there's a little slide on the end, and if I put it on the top portion of the slide, I'll get a fawn bleat. If I move it down just slightly, I can get a doe bleat. And if I move it a little bit further down on the slide, I can get a buck grunt. And the reason that I believe that they named it in the illusion call is because with this call, I can create an illusion to a buck that is chasing does or is wanting to search for a doe. I can give the illusion of a fawn bleating with its mother and a doe then creating her bang sound, all right, and then I can quickly slot it to a buck call that I can create that illusion that a buck is chasing that doe. Well, the reason that I have this buck skull sitting here was it was a buck that last year I was able to call in with this particular call, the illusion call by extinguisher, and I used those same calls, the fawn and the doe and then a buck. As I seen this deer at a distance walking down another ridge, I knew he was chasing because he had come by earlier. Well, the wind had died down and it had gotten quiet. Some people take a call and say, well, it never works. Well, the circumstances have to be right. There has to be a deer within hearing range, and it has to be somewhat calm. We can't expect a deer to hear a grunt call or a doe bleat and so forth if there's high winds and noise. This particular morning, this situation was just perfect for this buck. I seen him chasing some does, and a little while later, he was coming back the tram road, probably about 150, 180 yards from me, and I got out my call, and I gave at first just a doe bleat or a fawn bleat. And then I also presented a doe. This call then stopped him, and I seen his head turn to look in my direction. And as he looked then, I quickly slid the slide down on this call to create the illusion for this buck that another buck was chasing the doe that he heard. Well, he quickly turned, came down the bank. I lost him in the brush, couldn't see him while I continued my calling. To give him the illusion that there was a doe there and a buck was in his territory, and it wasn't a matter of minutes, and I'm looking at this buck standing in the brush searching for the doe that he thought was coming into heat and being chased by a doe. And I was fortunate enough, as you can see, to harvest this beautiful wide 8-point. It was 18.5 inches, and I decided last year to have it dipped in a camouflage type setting, but this time of the year, exciting, the bucks are chasing. I'm not getting a reimbursement or an endorsement by this call. I'm giving an endorsement that it does work. Right time, right place. Have it in your pack and use it now. Get into the woods. The next 2.5, 3 weeks, it's going to be prime time for calling and getting these huge bucks to make mistakes and come within bow range. So, from Tracking the Blood Trail for Christ Ministries, that's your tip for this day. Get your grunt calls. Get in the woods. You can't get them if you don't go. All right. God bless.